Hello, Mark Larsen here for the Dreamcatcher podcast. Thanks for joining us. Today, my guest is Jonathan Emery. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks, Mark. I'm excited to see where we go with this podcast today.
Yeah, no, I'm the other day when we talked a little bit, I am too. And Jonathan, a little bit of background. Where are you at? And just kind of just background.
Sure. So I'm Pennsylvania in the U.S. and I am currently a podcaster. I have a podcast program and everything like that. So a lot of stuff around podcasting. But for me, it was basically how I got here, right? And I'm sure that's where we're going to go with this. But
Right.
right now, it's all about connecting with people like yourself and sharing their
Yes.
journey in life. That's what my podcast is Life's Checkmark, and that's what it's all about.
So, how long? I mean, where did you come up with the name, and how long you been doing your podcast?
Sure. So the name came from just like a way of looking at life, right? So essentially, if you want to look at a check mark
Yes.
in a sense, like I want to say a lot of people grow up and their parents might not say it exactly, but they might show it, going to school, getting good grades, going to college, etc. And then getting the house, the family, the kids, and the
Right.
401k, the great job, career, etc. So to me, I looked at that as my check mark. Did I complete it? Right. And this is what
Sure.
I'm
Exactly. Yeah.
checking this off for somebody else's life in a sense, right?
Right.
I kind of like mimic from what they were just doing, not actually saying.
I hear
And
you.
so that's how I got the check mark part. But it's all about listening to other people and it's about knowing that your check mark is your own. And so you
Amen.
don't have to check off somebody else's box, check off your own box. And so and we could probably get in my journey and stuff, but that's basically how I kind of saw myself after the fact of going through some stuff. And
Okay.
so I've been doing the podcast for about almost 3 years come November,
Awesome.
170 episodes this week
Very
and
good.
about that many guests. I've done a few solos.
I mean, I know what I think of solos. What do you think of solo podcasts?
It's different. So you have to, yeah. So in my opinion, you have to have like bullet points and kind of just know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
There was one time where I wanted to share. My father passed a while ago, and I wanted to share
Mm,
what I learned from him.
sure.
And I felt like I couldn't share that just talking to a camera, right?
Yeah.
Emotionally and all that stuff. So I asked a friend to be on a Zoom on the other side,
Mhm.
just listening. So there was a way I showed up as a solo episode, but in a way I was able to still feel like I was talking to somebody else.
Yeah.
Um,
I like that.
so yeah, solos are good in a way that it makes you show as an expert, whatever that is,
Yeah.
and you can express yourself to the world.
Yes. So before you podcasting, what were you doing?
So I lost my job after 20 years. Yeah, so about 5 years ago, I lost my job. They closed around COVID, but not due to COVID. And it was a printing factory. So I was in the logistics, the warehouse kind of
Okay.
space. So they announced it, and about 60 people from production or so walked out the door in October of 2019, and that was enough to like, wow, it's like a shock, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't one of them yet. They had me stay till May of the following year because I was in that space of the logistics
Mm,
and everything. So
mm,
me and a couple other people basically had to clean out the place. So
wow.
after they left, the 60 people, there was a small group of people still there, not
Right.
and they, slowly people trickled out, right, in between. And so I was one of the last three to walk away. We were the last thing to go before our forklifts because we had to make sure everything was gone. And so
Wow.
this large facility that was running all this product, all these people, it was a shell. So yeah, stripped
Mm,
down, everything thrown away or sold or
that's tough.
whatever. Yeah. So that that was like, hey, what am I gonna do? I don't know. I looked at it as an
Yeah.
opportunity after a while. And I didn't jump right into podcasting right away. I ventured into whole life insurance.
Okay.
Somebody I knew, was bringing on people, and he
Sure.
liked who I was. So I learned that, and I wound up ended up creating YouTube videos to sell
Okay. Yeah.
or show what I had,
Exactly.
and that got me to a point where I was enjoying creating that. I ultimately wound up getting a client. And then there was some other stuff that kind of got bumpy. So I kind of stopped doing that.
Okay.
And when I went to an event about a year and a half after that time, somebody asked me what I want to do. We were at a breakfast table. I don't even know the guy's name. It was just him and me
Uh-huh.
after everybody left. And I said, start a podcast. And he's like, do you have anything? And so when I was doing the whole life insurance thing, I actually was interviewing entrepreneurs online on
Uh,
Facebook,
that's
right?
cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And so I had 10 Facebook lives and he's like, oh, well, why don't you just strip the audio and start with that? And I'm like, that's not what I
Yeah.
want my podcast to be. So I hesitated for 6 months. I did exactly what he said,
Mhm.
even though I haven't spoken to him, ever since. But I did that and it got my podcast up and running. And then I just started finding people and it is what it is today. So
It is.
yeah,
No,
it's fun.
it is fun. I look forward to talking to awesome people like you, and it's nice you can do them all around the world. I mean,
Yes.
and that is what the technology is amazing. So you also have, let's see, you have your Podcasters Hub. What is that exactly?
So that's a group of other podcasters or some people that don't have a podcast yet and they're
Okay.
working on building theirs. So we'll come to it's a community, I call it the hub, right? And so we'll meet 2 times a month on a Zoom call.
Okay.
Usually one's just a group, questions, answers, etc. And then the other one I have a special guest come in from the outside that's not in the hub. So we can kind of pick their brain. They can share, they could do a presentation if they want on something specific.
Right.
It's a school community. So instead of going on Facebook and asking the same thing over and over again and you can't find it because it's in the thread somewhere,
Right. Right.
here's an opportunity where you could just go to a classroom that's in school. You can find
Perfect.
it and go from
Yes.
there. I'm also creating live events next year around podcasting. So I'm actually going to be
Wow.
I'll be announcing that tonight in the hub because our calls after this. So I'm
Okay.
excited to share that with them and tell them all more about it. Most of them know about it, but not the details.
Sure. So will this be located right where you're at then?
This first one will be in Pennsylvania, so about
Okay.
30 minutes from where I am. There is an option where people can attend virtually to listen to everything that's going on, listen to the
Okay.
podcasts and stuff. So that's going to be mentioned online down the road, but there's also people can attend physically as well. So
Okay.
looking forward
Yeah,
to it.
you could run with that. You could have a different location every year.
It's
You like
possible. I'm already thinking of another one next year, later in the year. I already know a location. I just got to set it all up. So, and I,
Yeah.
I can only take so many people because
Yeah.
the podcast can only last so long.
No, that's true. So do you like to travel?
Yeah, I don't mind traveling. I traveled speaking this year, so I enjoyed it. And I attended some masterminds over the past few years. And yeah, it got me around.
So do you like masterminds?
I will say yes. The ones I have attended were great. I attended same one twice year after year.
Okay.
And that was located in Orlando, Florida,
Ah, nice.
in a mansion, right? So
Oh,
there's
very
about
nice.
yeah, so it was about 20 people. We stayed, think of this as the real world that was on MTV a long time ago.
Right. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And so we were able to learn from each other, get up and talk to have those deep connections. And
Yes.
so we were always a group. We were also separated sometimes, and we were just talking on our own.
Okay.
For like 3 or 4 days. So it's that you're not like getting up and leaving them. You're bumping into them every once in a while, breakfast or
Yeah.
whatever. And so, yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. And to be honest with you, it allowed me to open up even more as a person. And,
Okay.
um, I was, I was in the middle of podcasting then when I started doing all the masterminds. Yeah. So, I mean, I always found myself as an introvert. Other people might say different now. I don't know. I keep saying that I am because I kind of sit to the side when I'm at
I hear you.
public settings, right? I don't need to be involved in every conversation. I can sit back and listen.
Me too.
And so, yeah, I did enjoy the masterminds I attended. They're all different, but the ones I were at were pretty good.
That's very cool. And it's interesting when I've had so many people that are podcasters now that were, kind of classified themselves earlier on in their life as introverts.
Mhm.
And I very much was one. I mean, I did not say much at all. I was very quiet. So everybody's like, what happened? Well, I
Well,
found my voice.
yeah. I mean, for you, you're like you're interviewing me now. You're asking questions and stuff, but you're also being the listener. So you have to know when to take and when to receive.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So somebody that's wanting to start a podcast, how do you tell them to get started?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I start with my module 1 and I give that away for free. It's where you learn your why, your want, your need, desire to start a podcast. Because if you
Right.
don't have that, if I did, if I didn't say to you today that my podcast is because I want you to come on, Mark, and share something to the audience that you experienced, so that somebody else listening or watching it knows that they can get through it too, because they're not alone. Somebody else has
Yeah.
gone through it. And so if I didn't keep saying that and I didn't continue to follow that, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today still. And
Mhm.
so I didn't start to build an audience. I didn't start to build, and make money off of
Sure.
this. It was simply for that fact of learning how other people got through things. And so
Yes.
that's what I start people with. Like, what is your want, your why, your need, your desire to start a podcast? And it's got to be deeper than making money and building the audience. That will
Amen.
come. It will come.
Yep. Oh,
Right.
yes.
And so
Yep.
a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm going to start and I'll get all these people." But no, you're not Joe Rogan. You're not these big name people that
No.
have, yeah, that they've been off to the
Yes, I know what you
side and
mean.
then they just start and now they have a huge audience. It doesn't happen like that.
No, and I have a lot of people say, "Well, how many people do you," and it's like, it is a very, you don't, it's not overnight.
Hmm.
It's just like, "How much money are you making with podcasting?" It's like, "Well, it's a hobby so far,"
Yeah, it's a start.
but it
Yeah.
is. It's not reason why I'm doing it. So, when I will make a positive difference in the world, and, no, it is. So, with what you're doing, how do people find you to work with you or to
So
can to
yeah, so first I would say, check out Life's Checkmark podcast, listen to the people that are on there, right? And that's why I continue to do what I do. You can go to lifescheckmark.com and there you'll
Okay.
find my one-on-one coaching program, Prevent Podcrastination, right? Because I podcrastinated and I
Me too.
waited 6 months and then I went. So that's my one-on-one coaching program. Then I also have the Podcasters Hub. You can find more information there too. I do have a program going on right now, which I can only accept 20 people, where I'm taking authors to podcasters. So if you have a book, they
Okay.
can they can go ahead and do that. And so that's not on that website. So they can always reach out to me. They can reach out to you, and I can share that.
Okay.
And then yeah, and so I'm working on some other things with the guests, and then obviously that live event with the
Excellent.
Podcasters Hub.
So, where would you like to see yourself, like, in 5 years with all this? Or
Uh,
maybe not even
I
in
don't know.
years?
I might be traveling around the country and doing the
That's 2 thumbs
experience.
up.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I was able to speak on 4 stages this year, one of them being my own event.
Wow,
And
okay.
yeah, so that opened up so many doors, opportunities, and then I was in
Yes.
4 anthologies as well. And that was not planned. I didn't plan any of that.
Okay.
So none of that would have happened if I didn't have the podcast, right? Because I had a
True.
guest come on about this time last year around me, and she's like, "Oh, I'm doing a health expo next month," which would have been January this year.
Okay.
And she's like, "I think you'd be a good fit," because I went through a divorce within the same year. I lost my job anyways. And
Oh, wow.
she's like, "Oh, you can come share that." And I'm like, "Okay." So I signed up, I had a booth, and I spoke about the divorce part for, 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then the following weekend, I had my own event around podcasting. And so people that are in the hub came to that. They were speaking. There was five speakers. So those are the few quick examples of, like, I had the podcast. I met a guest. She said, "Hey, I have this offer. Are you willing to accept?" I said, "Yes. Let's see where it
Yeah.
goes." And now they want me to come back again. I don't know if I'll speak this time, but now I have all this stuff to offer for the podcast and the
True.
guests that I could just lay it out and say, Here's what I have. Let's work together."
Awesome. Yeah, until you're yeah, I can relate with that. In fact, I'm gonna do some of that maybe tomorrow. So I have never spoken on stage yet,
No?
but my wife was talking about that this morning, and if they asked me, she said, "Would you do it?" And it's like, I would do it. I won't pass out or faint or
Eh,
like I probably would have done when I was younger. But, yeah, I think that's coming. So I gotta ask, this is Dreamcatcher Podcast. What were your dreams when you were growing up? What did you think you were gonna be when you became an adult?
That's a great question. I wish I had the exact answer for you, because I went to college for like 2 semesters. I gave up in the last semester
Okay.
for like computer programming.
Uh,
And yeah, so I was doing that, and then I took on a full-time job working where I was for 20 years, right? And I'm like,
Okay.
well, I'm making this, and then moved out and lived by myself. So I'm like, I needed that, and I didn't
Mhm.
want to juggle two things. So I was just like, okay, I'll just continue to work. Looking back, I'm glad I did because I went to
Mhm.
college and all that stuff. I don't
Sure.
believe in so much anymore to a degree,
Mhm.
but I didn't know. I got the job I had for 20 years because I knew friends that were working there, and
I know how that
I just
goes.
wound up staying there. And I built some time and vacation time and seniority, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
And so I just got stuck. I was in a mold, and I think I'd still be there today, even though I wanted out if they didn't close down.
Really, you think you would still be there though? Okay.
Yeah, just because I had all the years and the experience,
Well,
and
see that.
I like it.
Now,
Everybody gets comfortable, right? They get stuck in
true.
their
Very
ways.
true.
And that now I'm doing everything uncomfortable. So, doing all the
Very
stuff
good.
all the stuff I share with you is all new to me. So,
It is. That's another thing I talk to people, and it's like, well, doesn't that intimidate you? It's like, yeah, but I learned that most things intimidated me. It's just like, why not?
yeah, you have to take the risk. So I encourage you to go speak if you can, and just
Yeah,
know that everybody's more worried about themselves than they are worried about you. And if you can
very
get
true.
past that, then you'd be okay.
Yeah, and I used to be. I did not know that wisdom right there. I always thought everybody was, and it is. Everybody is concerned about themselves, and
Hmm.
yeah, and it's just I always say, do that because for one thing, if you have, change somebody's life with one person because you're on that stage. Everybody's waiting for your dreams. I always say if you have the dream, you have the wherewithal to do it, but it takes probably some effort, a lot of effort
Yeah.
to become the person that can live that dream and keep that dream. But then I'm a big fan of Ripple, of all the
Yes.
things because you caught your dream, all the people you can change potentially in the world. So, but so I got to ask, have you ever been to Nebraska?
I have not.
That's you gotta have a maybe event here in Nebraska or something like that.
It's possible. This thing takes off. If people fill this out tonight and I'm sold out already, then yeah, I'll definitely start looking around and see what I can do.
They'll say, "Nebraska, what's there?"
I know Mark is there.
I am there. Everybody that I talk to, like, "You're from Nebraska, isn't there just a lot of corn and cattle?" Which there is, but there's a lot more than that. So, no, actually, there's a lot of people from the coast moving, especially from California, moving to Nebraska.
Okay.
So, and it's just like, "You're not gonna like our winters."
Uh, it's
Not
that
very
bad, huh?
much at all.
Yeah.
So, so what are some other things you enjoy to do?
Well, I like to enjoy the hike and everything and get outside. And I have a dog, so I'll walk my dog.
Awesome.
Anything just with nature, I really enjoy it. Lately, I've been trying to hit up like waterfalls.
Oh,
Kind of
nice.
yeah, kind of in my area, stuff I never just went to and checked out. So it's you just go on TikTok and type in waterfalls and wherever, and everybody's got videos. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. Let me just do that.
That is a nice thing.
Yeah, but I enjoy the outdoors, even though I sit inside here and podcast. So
Well, do you do podcasts outside ever?
I have not. I've thought about it. Um I'm gonna take the how can I word this? I'm gonna ask somebody politely for next year to an event that I'm going to if I could possibly do it where they're gonna be
Uh-huh.
outside. It would be outside. So and I would love to give somebody else that experience as a guest to be doing
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
that would be awesome. Now I know in Nebraska it's the wind that you got to
Uh
definitely have all that because you get some. I mean, the wind almost always. Well, somebody said the wind stopped in Nebraska, everybody fell down. It's not far from that, so we do get a lot of wind. But so
wow.
where you're at, the train, you must like mountainous. I mean, said you have waterfalls. I mean,
Yeah, so the waterfalls I'm thinking are probably like 3 hours away from me, maybe
oh, okay.
one and a half, the good ones, right? That yeah, I have the Appalachian Mountains that go through here a little bit of a distance from me, but there are mountains around me. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I don't like Ricketts Glen is the one I'm thinking of with all the it's like
Okay.
14 waterfalls or whatever. It's well known.
Oh,
You can look it
wow.
up. Yeah, a lot of people go there, around the year.
Okay.
I was just and I did I think it was a 3-hour hike just in a loop, and
Nice.
I saw most of them. So it goes in a loop, and the bottom one, the bottom dips down, so there's 3 down there I just didn't see,
Okay.
but it's beautiful. Yeah, so there's mountains, there's trees, there's farms, there's city,
Okay.
obviously, too.
Sounds very nice.
Yeah.
I have a picture of what I visualize. What I've never been back to that part of the country. So would you do like the Appalachian Trail or something like that?
I've been to Hawk Mountain, which is not too far from here, and
Okay.
that is where Appalachian Trail passes through. So I
Okay.
never walked any of that. I know a lot of people have, but I never done that. And
Nice.
Hawk Mountain's Hawk Mountain because I guess you can see forever, and a lot of the hawks when they migrate go through there.
Cool.
Yeah,
That is very nice. That's awesome. So, okay. What I find is so many young kids getting out of school are still doing the narrative that we think. So how would you kind of um change their perception on what they should do? I mean, if a senior came to you and said, "Should I just go to college and do the everybody's been doing forever?" I mean, what would your advice be on that?
that's a good question. And I like that you asked it because I have 2 kids of my own. One's 13,
Okay,
my daughter, and my son
awesome.
is 15. So
Okay,
I they see what I do, and I encourage them to be open-minded, right? They can go to school, do whatever they want, and go college if they
sure,
prefer. My son currently is at trade school and high school, so he's learning to be
very
a
good,
plumber. Whether he carries that through or not, that's up to him.
good.
But
Yeah.
I tell him there's advantages to it because of how, the plumbing industry is looking for plumbers, but
Yes.
they're not around, right? So there's that, and then uh, and I'll talk about my daughter in a minute, but when I did that live event that I held for the
Hmm.
first time, they were with me, right? And so they
Nice.
were to experience that. They got to meet the people that showed up, and my daughter set the food out, bags of chips or whatever, nothing crazy. And so like I want them to experience that. So when I do these other ones, I want them to be doing something and be part of it. With that being said, the thing I'm going to talk about tonight, I want my daughter to make a charcuterie board, and I'll pay
Oh,
her for it,
very good.
right? Because she loves to do stuff like that. So, again, another way to look at making money, entrepreneurship, and expanding
Yes.
your reach.
Yes.
So, I encourage them to do whatever is best for them. I'm not going to push them in a direction I think they should be going. I think they have to
Okay.
steer themselves.
Yes.
And, I guess looking back for me, I want to say college was kind of pushed towards me in a sense.
Me too.
Uh, I know my parents were struggling. They did, they didn't really have the funds for it anyways, but I think in their heart, they knew that going to college, you would get a better job and stuff and
Yeah.
better financial future. And so that's pretty much why I went down that road. And I just found out I didn't really want to be at school, I guess, anymore because it's basically 13th grade, right?
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
And
is.
yeah, you're just an older senior. That's about it.
That's a great way to look at it. So, no, I think college. I like the connections I made in college, but
Yeah.
the education, yeah, I could have probably. I have learned much more in real life than that. So,
Mhm.
but so have your kids been on your podcast?
They have not. They've seen clips. They
Okay.
may have heard some stuff here and there, but yeah, nothing crazy. So I think they'll come across it and find it interesting sometime down the road. And that's why if I create events or go to events, like I went to Podfest twice and I took them 1 year, and
Okay.
it's a big event. And so that, it was in Orlando, so we went up, going to Disney and stuff
Hmm.
too. But when I say big, it's like a hotel and all these rooms and different speakers at the same time, so you can't see everything at the same time. And so that was overwhelming for them compared to mine, where it was a smaller group of people, about 20 or 30, and they were able to talk, relax, not get up and go from room to room and keep moving around for sessions.
Nice.
So yeah, who knows? If they ever stumble upon it and want to do it, great. It's there. It's always there. I always encourage them to just try it, but my son's in the video games too. My daughter's just into the other tech of watching YouTube or whatever.
Yes. So maybe would you ever let them run the podcast and interview you?
It's a good question. I would have no problem just having conversations with them. I even see it in my head if we were just sitting around the dinner table and we just turn it on and we just,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, just start dinner talk or whatever you want to call it, right? And just
That could
have
be a
that.
very good episode.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
it'd be an excellent episode. So do you write?
I haven't written except for the chapters that I wrote for these
Sure.
books I had. That's it. That's as far as I gotten.
Do you like writing?
It's different, right? It was
Yeah.
so again, those things were like opportunities pushed towards me, and I just took it. And I'm like, I never
Mhm.
did this before. How am I going to do this? And I wrote it, and then obviously you can use Chat GPT or whatever, put it in there. Maybe you can fix the
Right, right.
grammar and stuff, and just go back and just read it again and again. Uh, I don't mind it. I don't know what I would write in like a full book of my own because the the books I was in, one was about spirituality, the other one was
Okay,
about I wrote about communication, with another partner.
okay.
Another one was about podcasting, and then the other one was a little bit podcasting and my journey, like we discussed here tonight.
Nice.
So all different, and I'm sure I could share a lot more in different books or in my own book.
Okay.
But I'm that's my next thing, right? So
Okay.
I
There you
so
go.
so I'm trying to think of it. You gotta speak yet. Do you have a book?
I do not, but
Okay.
that is on the
I know a
the
person. I know she's helping
do
me
you?
with she's helping me with I'm doing a podcast guest book. And so I'm getting all
Nice.
these guests to be in this book.
I
And so
like that idea.
she's helping me with that. So my goal here is to have, say you, Mark, that go from podcaster to maybe an author or to a speaker, and then the third one. And I think
Right.
if you believe me, they all go together. So when you're speaking, things tend to disappear. You say something, it's gone. There's nothing out there.
Yes.
You don't
Yes.
have the video, you don't have anything. But when you're speaking, you
Right.
say, here's my book, here's my podcast, right? And so the book's only going to take you so far. People are going to go find your book, they're going to read it, and then now you
Sure.
can say, here's my QR code, go to my podcast and listen. And now they
Right.
can find out more about Mark, his guests,
Yeah.
his book, his speaking opportunities, whatever. And so it all
Yeah.
tends to go around. Yeah.
I like that. No, we were talking of spirituality.
Mm.
And God is the one that said, I think I told you the other day when we talked, Ed, he's like, you are writing a book.
Yeah.
And he even sent that to me to that workshop, which was very awesome that I did not know was occurring that day. And I have a feeling it's gonna be written no matter what, or he'll keep on saying, he keep putting events and more things in my path to make sure the books get written.
That's good.
So we talked about, I think, spirituality the other day. So are you very spiritual? Spiritual?
So that's been a journey of my own, right? And that's happened in the past 3 years.
Okay.
So
Wow.
the word God came out of my mouth after I was saying thank you for months, just waking up. Basically, thank you for being
Right.
alive.
Right.
And one day it was like, thank you, God," and I'm like, I don't know what this is. This is new to me, and you know, growing up, it was never pushed upon me to go to church or
Hmm.
anything. We did go, but not every day or anything like
I
that.
hear you.
Nothing crazy. And so I just attended church locally with a guy that I know that,
Okay.
he's like, "Ah, you're curious, just come out." So I've been going for the past 3 years, not every Sunday, but
Right.
a
Okay.
lot of them. And it gives you a space to kind of just relieve some of the bad stuff out there around mankind.
Yes.
And yeah, it has have like a goal, have an accomplishment to please somebody else in a sense, right? And
Hmm.
know that he's watching over you, and it might not be the quickest path, it might not feel like it's the right path, but it is the right
Yes.
path,
Yes.
right? And if I didn't go through the job loss, the divorce, or anything like that, I wouldn't be creating things. I wouldn't be talking to all these people. I wouldn't be sharing other people's inspiring stories. I wouldn't be
Yes.
here today.
No, I hear you 100% there. Yeah. Sometimes you wonder why you have to go through it, but it is your journey. It's the path to get you where you need to be for, that day or that moment. And
Exactly.
And I can tell you, I think the other day, 5 years ago, that I'd ever be doing a podcast. I would never ever thought, and it is my favorite thing to do. And but yeah, I'm to the point now that when I go through something like that, it's like, so what's this trying to teach me?
Mm.
How's this trying to make me stronger? And it's very cool when you look at it that way instead of going the negative way,
It
which I
is
used to do
cool.
a lot.
Yeah.
So But no, it is, and that's like if not if, when I become the speaker, what he's got planned there. And that intrigues me very much.
Mm,
So, and the people I'll meet, if I hadn't done this podcast, I wouldn't be talking to you, or all the other people have done on this with this podcast. And that would be, I guess I wouldn't know it, but it would be sad
yeah.
because there's lots of people and it's one thing I found out around the world, people are people. The people they all want basically the same thing. Even if they have different ways they worship or they live, they want to be important. They want to be
Mhm.
counted. I think that is one reason why God had me do it, because I can relate with not feeling like I was worth anything when I was younger. I was the quiet person and I was the one overlooked. And I know that feeling very well. And I don't want anybody to have that feeling. So now I got on my tangent there.
No, that's great. And so now you're inspiring others by having
Yeah.
people come
So
on.
that is what I want to do always.
But let me ask you this: what has it done for you as a host?
As a host, it has made me it actually I see myself in a higher light, because I didn't think I really didn't know if was worth anything, in this life. It's like, to be picked on my whole life and just to be kind of felt like it makes me feel, and I don't want to say important, but it just that I'm here to make a difference. There I have a reason to be here.
Mm.
And it's been awesome. It has very been awesome, and it's a journey I love. And at my age, I'm 62, and that's one thing I always tell everybody. It's like it's not too late if you're still here. Do it, and don't everybody's like retire. It's like I don't think I'm going to retire. You know, I can keep talking till the last day
Uh-huh.
on his deathbed. So he did his last podcast. You know, uh, but no, it is. So people, anybody who knows my backstory are very surprised that I'm doing this greatly. And I kind of surprise myself too,
Mhm.
how I've become pretty comfortable doing this. And I don't like the word comfortable either, but it doesn't, I don't have anxiety,
Okay.
anymore. I will probably have anxiety the first time I'm with the stage, but I think once I talked to a guy the other day, and he said once he got onto this stage, he liked the interaction between the audience. So,
Mm.
have you found out being on stage? Do you like the banter kind of, or the vibes, or
Like if you're asking questions when you're up there?
yeah, you're just kind of speaking and you can see that people are resonating with what you're saying.
Yeah, I think I can't say I had like Q&A kind of going back and forth when I was speaking,
Okay.
but I you could see people like looking at you and like I would feel like they were listening in
Sure,
deep
sure.
in deep thought. I don't really know for sure. I do remember the first one I spoke at. A guy pulled me to the side afterwards, and he's like, my wife's been talking about a divorce
Oh,
for a while now. He's like, how do you handle that? Whatever. And so it's just
yeah.
I told him my thoughts, and yeah, so like it might resonate with somebody, and that might be enough for somebody to like that to pull you aside again,
Yes.
it's like podcasting. You showed up at the right time to give somebody
Yep.
some kind of advice, right? And it was enough,
Yep.
and you had to be on stage to share who you were, what you went through. Otherwise, that person, you guys would have never connected.
Right.
We wouldn't be shaking hands and going, "Oh, you're going to get a divorce? I went through one too." Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
I hear you. No, no, that's why I tell everybody I think everybody should have a podcast or
Mhm.
do something out there. And with today's world, it's getting easier all the time to do a podcast,
It's
and
getting easier, but a lot of people don't keep going with it. That's the problem.
they don't. Like a lot of things, they
Yes.
they have the best of intentions, and then the follow through on a lot of things is not very good.
Mhm.
So, and it does. You have to learn new things. You have to get out of your comfort zone,
Yes.
and everybody, they kind of want to be comfortable,
Yes.
and I understand that. But what the life that you might have had if you hadn't stayed in your comfort zone, and all the ripple. I'm a big fan of ripple. So all the things that could have happened because you did, something like that.
Mhm.
And life's short. You don't want to be at the end of your life and wish you had done quote unquote whatever it is. And if I can run 6 miles, if I can do a podcast, if I can lift weights, I mean, it's just like because I didn't do sports. I didn't do any of that stuff when I was younger. It's never too late as long as you're still breathing. So do it very much on that. So I think I just went on your podcast.
No, you're fine. Yeah. You're doing great.
So
This is perfect.
so so no. So okay, for somebody that I mean, I see you have the exact same mic as I do. So how did you find out the equipment to use and how did you do that? Did somebody guide you on that stuff?
Not really. No, it's basically just self-taught for me, right? And so
Okay.
again, so I created the hub so we can talk to one another and learn from each other. This thing I probably just did my homework back then, and this is I don't know how old this is now, but they still make it.
They
It
do.
yeah, it's I know some people are like, it's not the best. It does this, does that, and I agree, it's not the best, but it does have. If I'm right, it's got a speaker on both sides and all the
Yep.
way around, right?
Yep.
And one, I can turn it off and on, so it works. It does its job. It hasn't died on me.
Nope. Mine
I
hasn't
mean,
either.
I'm looking, but I'm not in no hurry to buy. And so that's the mic. The lighting part never really came into play until like a year or so ago. And I wouldn't say they're the best. I have a soft light and then I got a ring light over here. So that's the only thing I have. Other people have other stuff. And then
Yep.
my camera is not my laptop. It is just one of those cameras you could buy like to put on top of your
Oh,
laptop,
sure. Yeah.
but it's a 1080, so it's better picture and
Perfect.
it's on a tripod, so it's not moving. It's not, I close my laptop and take it with me. The camera can stay here and it's
Yep.
not, shifting in any way. But there is a lot of options out there. And
There are.
I always encourage everybody to just work with what you have and
Yes.
then build from there because I don't want you to go spending all this money and then you just never
And you
start.
can.
Yeah.
I've looked at some of those mics. Oh my gosh. And this, like the mic you have and I have, I mean, it's been good. I
Mhm.
mean, I've never, and it's really reasonably priced for a mic. And so, I mean, what kind of headphones do you use?
These are gaming headphones. So like something like my son would wear.
Very nice.
I bought that. I bought these, I believe, before the mic because it came with a mic if I wanted to talk, just do Zooms or something before even the
Right.
podcast came into mind. So that's why I bought them. They're slowly starting to fall apart, but they work.
Yeah.
I figured, okay, they're comfortable. Gamers like them, so that's why
Yep.
I jumped in that. Other
No,
than
that's
that, headphones work. Any headphone's going to work unless you're editing from another, podcaster
yeah.
told me, she edits for other people. So she's like, you want these headphones? I guess you can hear better. I have no idea, but,
Okay.
um, yeah,
No, I've been in some places where they're setting up places you can do podcasts, and oh my gosh, the equipment they have at some of those places is amazing.
mhm.
Um, so do you use a mixer?
I do not.
Well, I don't either. I told them that they were wanting me to I was like, "I don't know what you do with that thing." I
Right.
kinda just like, I kinda do, but you would not want me to mix it. It
Right.
might be very interesting.
Right.
So, but so before Jonathan, before we end the podcast, anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah. I like to share that I don't care what you guys are doing, but just don't give up on your hopes or your dreams, your
Yes.
desires, and just keep moving forwards. Where you're going to get those people that are going to say, why are you doing that? Or, try to pull you back in their direction. And it's just going to put you in that place, a state of just no motivation, not doing anything. And your
Yes.
dreams are just going to become nothing. And I'm at this place where I'm continuously growing, even though that there's things that could be
Very good.
just pull me down.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to the graveyard. I don't want to all that to look back and regret, right? I just want to say I did it.
Yes.
If it
Yes.
fails, it fails, but it fails because I tried though. I gave it a shot and
Amen.
yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah, you fail forward.
exactly. So that's what I would say to everybody else.
Amen. Well, thank you for joining us on the Dreamcatcher podcast. I look forward to keeping track of what you're doing and everything, and maybe having another conversation down the road. Just keeping in touch, and that's why the podcasting is so awesome.
Yeah.
You get so many connections that are very good. But I will let you go. Have a good evening, and we'll be talking soon.
Thank you. You too.